Hey everyone, it's Rob Chevelle. I know I'm going cuckoo with this driving and videos, aren't I? I'm going down to the OC. It's a beautiful day out. It's 4th of July. And I don't know, I kind of felt I want to make a couple comments on the 4th of July. Hope I don't offend anybody. But a couple things, like, the United States really is the greatest country in the world. You know, the Founding Fathers, the Constitution, they don't even teach it in school anymore because they want to bring in socialism. They want to bring in a one world government. So it's kind of like these two teams are fighting against each other. It's really, really sad and pathetic. But I'm not going to get like really go off on politics or something like that. I know a lot of people will get triggered or get really sensitive or their beliefs, but you know, remember the First Amendment is freedom of speech. So words can't hurt anybody, actually. But anyways, you know, I mean, the whole Founding Fathers that we, you know, this whole place was founded on, and you know, people are missing the whole point, you know, and now years and years later, and you know, people like, oh, capitalism's not good and we got to go to socialism, and it's just insane. You know, there's not one time socialism's ever worked. Why would you want the government running everything? Why would you want the government taking most of your money to give to somebody else? You know, I mean, that's really the end game. And capitalism isn't bad. Capitalism is like when it's a free market and you can create a product and you can sell it, you know, that's, and people want your product, that's a really good thing. And you should be able to keep your money, you know. What happened is it's crony capitalism. It's basically corporatism, where the corporations are in bed with the government, in bed with the world bankers, and then all certain levels of people get certain freedoms and certain things, and the regular man and the hard worker and the blue collar guy, those start to go away. So that's crony capitalism. That's like, you know, it's not good, you know. But the original idea that you have a product, you can sell it on a free market, and you can keep your money, and the government doesn't own it. You know, that's what this country was founded on. And people get a bad taste in their mouth. You know, the whole housing bubble. You know, you got like you know, big huge corporations now. They get these big, you know, benefits as opposed to, you know, an independent, you know, person who has a business, you know, and then the government wants most of your business, and the government puts all these regulations on you, and that's what's not good, you know. So, you know, socialism is horrible. The next step from socialism is communism, you know. You know, the history is right there. People just forget it. And, you know, another thing is a lot of the younger generation, they don't get it because the schools have been taken over by the government. The Department of Education started in 1979. Not too long ago. That's when the Department of Education started. And look at the last generation since then. In my opinion, not everyone, but a lot of these, they don't teach the Constitution. They don't teach. They want religion gone. They want the Bible gone. They want to take down the statues of Washington, and you know, all they want to erase history. All these things are being done is right out of the book 1984. You know, erase the history. You know, dumb everybody down. It's really, really sad. But you know, a lot of the things in the West Coast and East Coast and the big cities, and they're run by the Democrats, and they want socialism, they want open borders. I'll get really heavy on you. You know, 9/11, you can look at your evidence, you can go crazy and go nuts and get mad, but for all I can see, 9/11 was a complete inside job. It was completely created, and they did it so they can invade 7 countries in the Mideast, and they invaded them all. And guess who's the last one left? Iran. And guess who they're all screaming about is Iran, Iran, Iran. You know, when they took over Libya, they overthrew Libya. Hillary Clinton, you know, we got them. You know, got what? They decimated the whole population. Terrible. You know, if you look at pictures of Libya today and Libya back then, it really was so beautiful. They had their own money, their own gold. You know, you could say Gaddafi, bliss that and everything else, you know, but the people actually liked him a lot. There was a certain percentage who didn't. But the point is we have no business taking over other countries. So that's where the United States has gone off the rails, but it's not the Founding Fathers, it's not certain people. It's the world bankers. I'll get to that in a second, but another country is Iraq. You know, Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11, but we invaded it. They had no weapons of mass destruction. They lied to us, and they got the people behind invading all these countries. Now take it to the next level. So we've blown up all these countries. Now what? oh, we got to take all their immigrants, you know, and they did it on purpose. They knew this is all part of the game, because they know if they can spread out everybody, they can get rid of cultures, they can bring down everything to be more like a third world country all over the planet, you know, destroy customs, destroy, you know, societies and groups, you know, cultures, you know, literally. And then it makes it a lot easier to bring in a one world government. Then that's like, oh, you need our help. Oh, come on in. We'll give you free this, free that, free this, free that. And, you know, so they want open borders. They want people to come in as nothing. Then what they do is they push these buttons. Oh, you're racist if you don't do it. You're a bad person. And all this and all that. And any sane person's going to go, no, I like everyone as long as they're a good person. I don't care what their pigmented skin is, you know? It's ridiculous. They just push these points because they want us all to fight. So who's they? Okay, so the real thing, what holds us all in place is the New World Order, the world bankers. They have a fake money system. Every country on this planet has a Rothschild bank in it, okay, except a couple. North Korea, you hear that all in the news. Iran, you hear that all in the news. You know, because they want to, their game is they want the whole planet to have a Rothschild bank. And just a few years ago, Libya didn't have it, Iraq didn't have it, Saddam, there's 7 other countries, you know, but they now took it all over. And they crashed their monetary system, they put in a central bank. And the central banks is what we got away from in England. You know, people left England for religious persecution, they left it for, you know, all the taxation, you know, the central banks, you know, the wealthy, and there's the peasants and, you know, all that stuff. So we left and came over here. Then they said no way, and they came over here and we had a whole revolutionary war, you know. So, you know, and we kicked them out and we won. That's a whole other story. But we won and we were free really until 1913. 1913 is when the Federal Reserve Bank started. The Federal Reserve is not federal. It's a private bank. It owns our government. Federal is just a bullshit name they put on it. And there's no reserves. Okay, they just print money, and now they put numbers in a computer. So they own this entire fake money system. And now you get plastic, and then you get paper, you know. And now they want to put chips in your arm pretty soon, you know, and they're trying to get rid of cash and currency. You know, it's ridiculous. And if they don't like you, all they got to do is press a button and you have no more money. I swear to God, that's where it's going. So, I know I'm jumping around here, but just bear with me. So basically, you got the New World Order, the world bankers. They're the very, very few. These aren't even the 1%. The 1% do you hear about on TV? Those are the millionaires, and you know. But there's families above that make them look like nothing, okay? But are very, very few. You know, the Queen of England is just a PR character. She has enough money to cure world hunger 10 times over, but she doesn't do it. She has homeless in her streets in London, you know? You know, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, you know, J.P. Morgan, you know, anyways, they created the Federal Reserve Bank in 1913 on Christmas Eve, when everybody was pretty much out, and they finally got it through. They tried to bring it in for years and years, but there were certain men who were in charge, who were great, you know, patriots, and they said, no way, we're never going to have a central bank. But they finally got it through in 1913. Guess what another thing came through in 1913? The IRS. But it took the IRS another couple decades to really grab hold, okay? So look at your paycheck now. You probably get taxed 40% of your paycheck, you know? The Tea Party was half a percent tax, and people went crazy, you know, for that, you know, over that. So here we are now, and everybody's just, you know, each generation gets more pounded down, more stupid, and they're like, okay, I guess this is normal, this is what we do, you know, until people have no money in their bank account, they live paycheck to paycheck, and, you know, the cost of living is skyrocketed. The dollar now is worth about a cent or 2 pennies from what it's worth, you know, when the Federal Reserve Bank started in 1913. You know, so that's inflation. It's created. People think, well, it's something in the atmosphere is inflation. No, they print money, and they can take money in and out as they please. You know, so they totally control it. There is no more gold. You know, I mean, they sucked up all the gold. There's no more gold in Fort Knox. You know, there's no more gold, and you know, these families have hoarded all the gold. They don't want you. Then you see these commercials. Oh, give us your gold. Oh, give us your guns. We'll give you paper for your gold and your guns, you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's, and then the government, these agencies actually run all these things, but they go through different fronts till you finally see the TV ad that tells you that. And when you go down, it looks like it's, oh, it's some kind of company. They're just doing it, but you know, they control the whole thing. So anyways, back to 4th of July, you know, it's like, if you really know what it's about, it's not about firecrackers, it's not about, you know, having a keg party or a barbecue. I mean, that's all fun, but that's not what it's about. You know, these are when we won our independence from suppression of England. They came over here in mass droves to say, fuck you, you're not leaving. Oh, great, I'm finding this new place, we're gonna take it from you. And we kicked their asses out, you know? So now it's ridiculous how the corporate news, which is also owned by all the bankers and stuff, and they just give you bullshit and lies and lies and lies, and they own everything now. They own Hollywood. You know, any movie you see now has to go through stuff. You can't, when's the last time you saw a movie that actually woke you up, that actually made you feel really good, made you want to be a better person, you know? They don't do that anymore. It's just rehashes of old magazines or old movies they do again, or, you know, things are just pushing the buttons of society on you, and, you know, everybody's a victim, and, you know, poor you, and, you know, if you've been wronged, and you have to have the government take care of you, you know? So it's just ridiculous. So anyways, 4th of July, you know, people should really know what it's about. Wake up. You know, if you do watch the corporate lying news, you know, realize you're being lied to. You know, it's just bullshit. Don't believe anything. Anything they say is part of an agenda. You know? So I'm not even getting into Trump or this or that or freak everybody out, okay? But, you know, all I can say is finally we got somebody who's getting his promises done from his campaign trail. Name me one other politician that ever got their promises done. Pretty much, you know what I mean? So he's not perfect, but a lot of things are going better, the economy, all this kind of stuff. But, you know, I'm not going to go more into that right now, but just all I'm saying is get back to the basics. The Constitution, why we're here, capitalism, real capitalism, not crony capitalism. You know, people creating a product, being proud of it, people want it, you make money. The government, we should have a small government, not this huge, giant government, you know? The IRS is illegal. It's completely illegal. It's against our Constitution, you know? But people just go along with it. So, you know, anyways, I know I'm rambling, but I hope it made sense to some people. Have a great 4th, and rock on.